Oh, wow! That's your reaction. You got the email from investor, and you now should prepare for the meeting. And that's the last lecture of my blog. So let me help you prepare for the meeting. It's not the usual meeting, though. It's the pitch meeting. It's a meeting with an investor. So, in my opinion, it's important to prepare for this particular meeting. And today I will discuss with you a few important things on how to do it. Usually, what I would start from is connecting with yourself. So, I spent a few years in plastic theater when they taught us how to do it, at least from the body perspective and from the mind perspective. So I will share some of the things which I know, and also we will have a long read with more things for you to learn and practice. Then you need to know your meeting place, if it's an online meeting, if it's an offline meeting. You need to know your audience. What is the venture capital fund? Who is the investor? What do they want? We will discuss it. Then you need to rehearse, prepare, rehearse again, prepare. We will discuss why. And then you will have the feedback from the investor. And it can be positive, it can be negative. So we will discuss how to react on it and how to move forward. Let's continue. Let's start from connecting with yourself. In my particular case, with myself. So what I would truly recommend you is to focus on one thing. Investor wants to meet with you. You deserve it already. You don't need to ask yourself. And you will have internal beliefs, you will have internal disbeliefs. Beliefs, and when you believe in your abilities. You're prepared, you have the perfect structure, content, narrative, you have all the firepower, which I gave to you, and I hope it's useful. But sometimes emotions are emotions. You need to believe in yourself, because investor wants to meet you. That's really important. And every person, myself, yourself, we have our own gremlins, meaning that we have internal disbeliefs based on the childhood, other people, environment, wherever. A lot of pressure from the internet, from other peers. It's difficult to run a business. For this particular thing, for this particular meeting, just focus on the positive beliefs. And then after the meeting, you can discuss what went wrong, what went right with your peers, with your folks. You have a business network to do it. But on the pitch meeting, focus on the pitch. Focus only on self-belief, because that's the job. That's the job when you deliver a pitch meeting. And you could see on the slide the comfort zone. Let's focus on the zones themselves. So you have the comfort zone, the adventure zone, and the danger zone. I would highly recommend, if possible, to focus on the comfort zone, meaning the type of the meeting, the type of the pitch, which doesn't make you nervous at all. That's the ideal. Then the next can be the adventure zone. It's actually presentations that can be a little bit difficult, and maybe they got you a little bit nervous. For example, if it's the public place, if it's the gaming conference, and it can be a little bit nervous. Then you can find a corner, you can find a place, and you can ask investor, actually, can we go there? It would be a little bit more comfortable for me. And then to keep it as close as it's possible to your comfort zone. Don't ever go to your danger zones. You will be just that nervous that you will not be able to deliver a pitch. You're a human. Emotions are emotions. In the moment, it's difficult. So don't go to the presentations, don't go to the places where it's a little bit scary for you, or you feel that it's not you, it's not for you. Focus on all the things that you can control, your comfort zone and your adventure zone. No matter how you experience, you can have 10, 15 years of experience, but we all, as people, as humans, we all have places, meetings, type of pitches, which are more comfortable for us. In order to believe to yourself, you need to help with the environment. So focus on the zones. That's really important before moving forward. Just think of the zone which is most comfortable for you. Let's put an example. So you have a meeting room in the game conference building. You have a corner. That's the perfect place. Then investor is saying, I only have 3 minutes. Perfect. Then focus only on the teaser deck. Don't rush yourself to the deck if you're not the person who can deliver the deck in 2 minutes. Because you need 2 minutes and 1 minute to ask questions, maybe answer some questions. So focus on all the things that you can do based on the environment and all the inputs that you have. And do not rush yourself to the danger zones. It's really risky. Don't put yourself into the risk situation. But let's focus on the bad stuff for a moment. Like I said before, I want you to focus on the self-belief. I want you to focus on your comfort zone and on a danger zone. I want you to control your gremlins. And the gremlins are inner worries, anxiety, based on many, many factors, and maybe just based on the situation. You don't like to pitch, but you need to do it. And it can be I'm not good enough, I look foolish, and maybe you are, maybe you don't. It's all subjective. Just don't focus on it. In my personal experience, you need to have some things in your life which you use to control your anxiety. In my case, it's either breathing or morning gym before doing anything related to work. In your case, it could be a glass of water, just have 5 minutes to look at something, just find something which calms you down. And do it before the pitch meeting to control your gremlins. It will help a lot. We're all human, so it's needed to go forward. The reason it's important is because, of course, it's affecting the presentation. It's affecting your pitch meeting. If you're nervous and you're niggling, definitely person will not believe that you can handle startup experience because it's really difficult. And you know it better, but the person doesn't know you. The person just needs to believe that you can handle it. And if you control your gremlins, you will not show your anxiety, even if you have it back in your mind. And even if it's difficult in general to run a startup, you need to hide it, you need to control yourself, and you need to deliver a great pitch. This is the work. This is the focus of this lecture. So once again, control your gremlins. Do not let them control your pitch. Amazing. You have connected with yourself. You're ready. Now, some technicalities. If you're having an offline meeting, of course, just have like 1 meter or so between you and the person, and that's it. Then you should just have a nice conversation, and good luck with this. Online, though, is a special beast. So as you can see, I'm not sitting like here and there. I'm not sitting there. I'm not looking for you from this distance. I'm not doing this. So I prepared myself and used the techniques just to be near the center of the screen. Some people prefer to be either this, there, or here, but you need to find the place where it's comfortable for the audience to look at you and to listen to you. And it can be Zoom, it can be a different tool, but just find a zone. Also, of course, try to keep an eye contact. Because I have many, many slides and details, sometimes I look at the slide just to refresh the memory, but it's okay. But usually I'm trying to look at yourself like as it would be in the offline old school conversation. So try to do it, even though it's a little bit unnatural. You will rehearse it and it's going to be all right, but try to do it so people will feel that you are connected to them. And last, not a must to have, but nice to have. Trying to get to a place with the even splitted light so you would not have something glitching to your face all the time, and then have a nice and easy background without something cluttery so it would not distract person and audience from listening to you as well. And that's it. Although it's a special beast, you have all the techniques to prepare, so let's move into the audience now. Wonderful. So you have prepared for both online and offline type of meetings, and you're now focusing on knowing your audience. In my opinion, what you should do is first you should engage with the audience to let them be a part of your pitch, and then, if possible, you should tailor your content for your audience. Let's focus on the engaging segment first. You can have either small or large group of people listening to you. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it offline, for example. And in online, it will be a little bit more difficult. Offline, you have one-to-one conversation, small group of people, let people participate in a discussion. So you will rehearse and you will know where people can ask questions. Let them ask questions. Do not rush. If it's a large group of people, it's a little bit more difficult. So let people to contribute. Ask questions. Let them raise their hands. If possible, if you have a person in the audience who you know, ask this person to ask you a question. So kind of rehearse a little bit, make it a play. So you would have an answer to at least one question. Next, tailor your content. If you have any conversation, you can ask people what is relevant to them. Is it interesting? You can skip some of the slides. It's not that you should deliver everything. If you feel that person gets all the slides already, you can jump, you can ask a person. So try to rehearse it in a way and rehearse it with people, as we will discuss later. So it would be lively. It could be a two sides conversation. Small thing to remember is that when people are getting the new information, they learn. So you're getting something new from me, hopefully. You're learning. And usually I would try to keep it at most 20 minutes per segment. That's what we are trying to do in this course. Then you also notice that sometimes I'm using my hands, sometimes I'm trying to make a joke, being positive, put a little bit non-verbal into the verbal communication that we're having, so it would be lively like it would be in an offline old-school world. And then I'm trying sometimes to ask for something. I'm trying to ask you to stop. I'm trying to ask you to use templates, this and that. Usually it's my call to action, and you would have your call to action to your audience as well. If it's look at your pitch deck, if it's come and have a conversation after the pitch delivery, it's something. It should be the end of your pitch deck delivery. Last but not least, manage expectations. As you can see, not only we splitted the lectures, but actually I'm sharing in advance what I will speak with you about. So you know if it's relevant or not. Some things you know better than others. So you can skip some of the things. You have the structure. You know from the beginning what is the knowledge that I have, what is the knowledge which will be shared, and what is the knowledge that you need to get. Prepare for your audience and maybe ask people questions. What do they know about the project? What do they know about the industry? And tailor your content. But at least share in advance what people will receive so you would manage their expectations. And offline or online, people still need people. And the small talk, which is more popular in some cultures and less popular in other cultures, can be stressful if you're doing a business meeting, but we still need to do it. You can start from yourself. You can start from introducing you. You can share where you are, what you're doing now, how your day is going. Really important, equally important, ask other person. Ask people if it's the large room, if it's all right, they can raise your hands. And then if it's another person, it's a one-to-one, just ask person, and you will have a little bit more context about the person, and it will be a little bit more human, which will actually ease the stress quite a bit. Amazing. So you've connected with yourself. Now you know your audience much more. Technicalities. Rehearsing can be boring, but you need to rehearse. It's important. If you're a professional, if you're not a professional, I rehearsed before doing this with you, and I rehearse before doing pitch decks and before delivering presentations. So I would highly recommend you to do it one more time if you're feeling even a little bit stressed. It will help. The golden rule is to have at least 3 rehearsals. Why and when? Why? Because it can be stressful to be in public, to have a conversation with a person you don't know. It's okay. When? First, when I created this amazing deck, which I am showing and which I'm sharing with you, straight away I tried to rehearse, having like a draft rehearsal of how I would deliver it, and then I changed some slides quite a bit because I felt that the narrative isn't there. That's one. The second, the day before the pitch. For sure, you should rehearse in the mirror if you have a bathroom and the mirror is there, or if your mirror is somewhere else, rehearse there. And then in the day of the actually pitch that you will have, I would recommend to just focus on a few slides which are the most difficult for you, just to rehearse and polish them and feel a little bit more comfortable. The golden rule is to have at least 3 rehearsals. If you're still feeling really stressed after the first or the second, you should do more. And maybe, you shouldn't do it by yourself. Maybe you can do it with other people. The more you rehearse, the more you feel comfortable. If you have a physical nervousness, meaning your body, your tone of the voice, first you can do it to yourself. If speaking loudly, according to the research from MSU, it will actually reduce the level of cortisol, and it would actually reduce the anxiety and the stress. I would highly recommend to read more in our long read. And if you're speaking to other people to rehearse, usually it's been called mock-ups. It can be a mock-up for a job interview, it can be a mock-up of your pitch interview, which is okay. It's a pitch, you can rehearse, you can then mock up with other people. And other people can be just your team, your co-founder, it's another person, for your brain it's another person. That's one. Then it can be your business network. You can leverage one more time. Just ask person to spend like 10, 15, 20 minutes to listen and if possible to record it and then to ask for the feedback from this person. And polish your body language, your physical nervousness, maybe polish your structure, narrative, and pitch delivery. It's also okay. And last but not least, if you have a friend or just a buddy from the venture capital fund, which is a friendly person, maybe this fund already said that no, we cannot invest, it's not our focus, but the person actually likes your team and yourself. You can ask one time to mock up the pitch delivery with this person. Some people will say yes, so I would still try and ask. The previous helpers were free, and if you're ready to spend some money, you can actually do mock-ups with people who are professionals. You can pay public speaking coaches, and you can click and see one of them, or you can go to a startup accelerator. Usually you would pay not with the money, but with some portion of your startup, which is also okay if you're in the early stage. So you overcame your nervousness, you pitched, and you failed. By failed, I mean that investor either didn't come back or investor said no. That happens quite often. That's okay. That's part of the deal as well. You still don't take it personally. Continue and keep going. What I would do, as we discussed, is I would ask for feedback. Some investors will share it, some investors will not share it. You can ask, it's free. Then I would do a follow-up saying, thanks, still, I'm really interested to be connected with you, and I would offer investor updates like we discussed in the previous lectures, and just send updates maybe someday after using the feedback from the venture capital fund. Usually if they share in the feedback, they share in the context and what they would recommend. You can adapt your pitch, and then by using investor updates, someday you can pitch again. You never know. There are not millions of great venture capital funds. You will pitch maybe to all of them in 1 year or less, and then you will pitch to some of them again. This is totally fine. Don't overthink about it and just continue going. And now you fully equipped. Not only you have essentials, packaging, but you've been doing quite good job in researching, you're doing the business network growth, you've been pitching, you've been practicing, you've been doing not only the rehearsals, but the mock-ups, and then eventually you've been pitching to venture capital funds. And it's a difficult job, the congrats, that's a good result. Really, good job. Next, of course, as the result of it, you are evolving and you will continue evolve as the gaming entrepreneur. Some venture capital funds will say no, they will share the feedback. Some of them will share the feedback, which will be useful, and you will be able to adapt your pitch. And you will pitch again, and that's okay. That's part of the job. Continue going. Before you go, enjoy the extra mile. Our team and Edvice prepare quite a good long read with free and useful materials, templates, links, which hopefully will help you even more and will not only help you to grow a gaming business, but to deliver great pitches. Thank you very much. It's been Artur, and I hope it will be useful for you to deliver a great pitch and to get fundraising. Good luck, guys.